Peace be to all. How's everybody doing on this beautiful day? I went on a little trip this past week, and it was a gardening trip. So there was something called the Sowth Gardening Conference 2025. It happened in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, and it was just basically a culmination of Southern gardeners trying to get together and share some of their experiences, as well as network and learn a couple things. So I have a couple clips that came from whenever I was there, but now I'm back home. And I'm not the best when it comes to this vlogging stuff because I be so caught up in the moment when I'm making these connections and talking to people and all that. But I'm gonna do better in the future whenever I go to more of these. I just wanted to bring this video to y'all to show y'all the possibilities that gardening can bring to you. It has opened up so many opportunities within my life just from planting seeds in the ground. Who would have thought that dirt will bring so much happiness and joy and abundance? Whenever you first start, you don't think of these things. You would never think being a gardener you would travel somewhere for free. You would never think that being a gardener you would have people reaching out to you trying to get you to come to different states, let alone different countries. This is just to showcase to y'all that gardening is fun, gardening is cool, gardening can bring you so many things that you never would have thought it could have. And the thing about it is when you garden, you don't have to compromise your morals. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. This is an accepting community as far as I've been seeing so far. I'm gonna just show y'all some of the clips and then I'm gonna tune back in and tell y'all some of the things that I learned along that trip. Peace be to all. How's everybody doing on this beautiful day? I'm a little out of my element right now. I'm inside of a building. But yeah, I'm just a little bit out of my element right now. I had got a little nervous because I had got onto the elevator. That's why y'all just seen that cut, because I ain't been used to this vlogging thing. But I'm out here. Y'all see that symbol right there? Y'all know where I'm at. I'm in downtown Atlanta. I'm at this gardening conference, the Sowth 2025 gardening conference. I don't know if anybody watching attended, but by the time this video is posted, I'll be gone. But if y'all attended this conference, tap in down below and let me know. But I will keep y'all posted, and this is a part of the journey. Gardening can bring great things to your life, as well as bring you new experiences and bring you places that you may not have seen yourself going. So, like I said, I'll see y'all in the next clip. We just gonna keep it going, keep it pushing. All right, so now we had concluded our first session for the day, but now I'm eating. They provided us with some free food and whatnot. Yeah. They got some vegan stuff. Here, a guy had met, you know what I'm saying, from Georgia,
what's up,
from Tribal Jima. Tap in, plug yourself.
Hey man, we at the Georgia World Conference Center. We having an amazing time. You know, we learning a surplus amount of information. We connecting ourselves with people across the world. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, you all. If you haven't started a garden, there's no perfect time. Just start. Come to some of the conferences, gain some knowledge, just get involved, and you'll have a wonderful experience. I'm not gonna talk out of there because I'm finna eat.
But see, that's how it goes. Just meeting different people and being able to share your gardening love around the world and be able to travel while doing it, make it look good while you're doing it. And I'm gonna keep y'all posted on this journey, and I'll see y'all in the next clip.
Really try to reduce the number of drop locations that we have, because the more drops you have, the more potential for error I found. So when we're doing a 400 CSA.
So I just got out of the second meeting of the day. Did a little something with the farmers markets. Just walking around. I ain't really got a whole lot to say right now because I'm nervous walking around with this camera, but I'm gonna keep y'all posted, keep y'all knowing what's going on. And at the end of the day, I'll give y'all a little summary of what I learned and things like that.
You gotta have some kind of horizontal airflow in your greenhouse. And it won't dry things out too much because once the doors close and all that, you don't have a lot of evaporation out of the house, so the fans won't dry it maybe as much as you think, but you don't want them like blowing on your seedlings.
All right, so just to recap, one of the first classes I went to was called Reparative Agriculture. And in this class, we learned about a lot of things when it came to African history, melanated history, indigenous history, and the way that it is incorporated within gardening. There were a couple panelists up there that were telling us about how their gardening business going. Some of them, they have gotten reparations for gardeners. There were people up there who found like native lost land and now they're taking care of it. There were some people there who have gardens over there in Ghana. A lot of people were based in Atlanta and on the East Coast. There was also talk about like legalization of cannabis. But one of the main topics that interested me was there was a guy there, he was talking about hemp production and how you could make clothes and you could build buildings and you can do all these things with hemp. And I've always been interested in that simply because hemp is way more sustainable than cotton. Our ancestors was using hemp. Our ancestors was not using cotton. The colonizers came over here and made us start using cotton because they didn't know how to use hemp. But that's a whole nother story. One of the main points that stood out to me that was said was there is no culture without agriculture. Now I'm gonna let that sit in. There is no culture without agriculture. That means so much. You can't truly know who you are if you don't know what food you're supposed to be eating. We put the wrong food in our body. We put the wrong messages in our ears. But whenever you know your culture, whenever you know your agriculture, you know the culture of the land that you're from, that's where you can succeed and get a little bit better. And you can start there. Another thing that was talked about, urban gardening, urban farming. And one of the key points that I took out of this was I work with a nonprofit, and with this nonprofit, we have a couple pieces of land. But these pieces of land are in a downtown area that the city is trying to develop. And that made me think about how whenever the big guy comes in, and then there's the little guy, yes, we could keep this piece of land, and I'm very optimistic about it, but we could keep this piece of land, and then they build up downtown around us, and then it's gonna drive our property taxes up. And that's not really ideal for what we're trying to do, but that's just the world we live in. That's the capitalist society that we live in, and these are battles that we have to face. So whenever you are planning your urban agriculture farms or your urban agriculture orchards or whatever, remember that the city's plans may not line up with your plans, but that does not mean stop doing it. You have to be the person to show people that it's possible. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep having that drive because nobody has it like you do. You have to keep going. Gardening, nature is important. I was in Atlanta and I was so flabbergasted about there not being any grass on the medians. So I know here in Texas, we might not have a sidewalk, but we'll be walking on grass. There's a sidewalk, but there's no median of grass. It's just straight concrete. And the few trees that there are, they're not surrounded by grass. There's a grate on top of the concrete, and then the tree is underneath the concrete with no grass. So how is that ever going to work? And then you wonder why in big cities people are losing their mind. Because once again, this concrete jungle is not good for nobody, but they do these things on purpose to try to keep you trapped. Another story that I want to share with y'all, I was on an Uber. One of the conversations that was had with the Uber was trees. We were talking about trees in like the country or whatever. And so the girl who was driving us in the Uber, she said, "Ooh, trees, like y'all like trees?" And I'm so flabbergasted by somebody saying, "Ooh, you like trees?" But the thing is, y'all don't see trees. Where she lives right now, she doesn't see trees. So to see a tree and for somebody to say that they like it is flabbergasting to her. But it's not to me. It's not to us who enjoy nature. But that's something that we're battling against whenever we're trying to not convince people, but try to show people that gardening is the way. If you scared of a tree, you scared of yourself because the trees bring you life. One of my favorite classes that I went to was soil health. I love soil health. I don't talk about it enough in these videos because I don't know all the technical terms, but I love to emphasize. That's why I've done worm bins. That's why I've done the compost teas. That's why I've done with the comfrey. That's why I continuously try to put compost in my beds, things like that, my mulch. Try to have cover crops and things like that because soil health is so much more important than fertilizer and feeding the plant. You have to feed that soil. Those microbes in the soil is what makes the nutrients available for your plant to even be able to uptake. So if you don't have microbes, you're going to constantly have to put fertilizer. And what does fertilizer do? It takes money out of your pocket. Another thing that I learned that I didn't really realize to the extent was pH. The reason that the pH of your soil affects the nutrients available to your plant so much is because your microbes rely on that pH. Just like you as a human, if you become too acidic or you become too alkaline, you will just die. There's no getting around it. So it's the same things for these microorganisms inside the soil. These things will not be able to survive if they're not in the proper environment. Different microorganisms and bacteria and things like this like different things. So having that biodiversity within your soil will always be able to carry you through, no matter if it's too hot, too cold, things like this, because you have built up those microorganisms and they're adapting to the environment. Not only adapting to the environment, but if you do it the right way, you already have microorganisms that are within your environment. So for an example, whenever you make your own compost, you're introducing local microorganisms as opposed to you getting some compost that's shipped from California. You're introducing those microorganisms to your stuff, and that might not be a good match. And then I also want to talk about the importance of no-till. Let me just give you an example that was given. You may want to plant some legumes, so beans. You might want to plant some beans. Then the next season, you might want to plant some tomatoes. And then that next season, you might want to follow that up with some peas right before it get cold. And then you might want to do some carrots. Okay, in this process, if you choose not to till, your nitrogen fixing legumes will help your next crop. So with that being said, whenever you till these things up, we got to remember that the legumes, they have a specific microorganism that help fix the nitrogen. It's not just the beans fixing the nitrogen by itself. No, there's a specific microorganism. The symbiotic relationship between the microorganisms and the legumes is what fixes the nitrogen. Whenever you are incorporating no-till, why would you fix all of the nitrogen and have these microorganisms doing that and then till them up, expose them to the earth, and then now they're dormant or they might just die? Then the other thing is, like I learned maybe a year and a half ago, is that there are weed seeds that have millions of seeds. So with that being said, there could be weed seeds within your soil, but as soon as you till that up, you're exposing those weed seeds and now they want to germinate. That's why you end up popping up with so many weeds after you till, because you have exposed those weeds. Whereas if you're just planting, you can use mulch, you can use these things to help suppress those weeds, and those weeds will just be suppressed. And yes, some may come through, but it won't be nearly as much as if you had tilled. Okay, now I want to talk about the next class I had went to that really interested me. It was something along the philosophy I have, and that is teaching gardening through life experiences through gardening. One of the things they were showing was, so you may get some basil seeds. You pour some basil seeds into your hand. You could do this right now, or you could do it with your kids, or just suggest this to somebody. But this was something very, very eye-opening to me, and it helped. And I will probably be using it in the future to help me with mindfulness. So you pour the basil seeds into your hand, maybe 4 or 5. Then you get a couple drops of water. You let it sit there. As it sits there, well, I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but as it sits there, it will start making some changes. But as you're looking at this, understanding the changes that are happening, that's you practicing mindfulness. All of your senses are engaged. You're seeing, you're feeling, you're smelling, you're hearing. All of these things are in play whenever you try this out. So as you sit there and let these basil seeds do what they do, just be mindful of what's going on. This is something that is very beautiful with nature. You don't have to rush anything. These things are literally doing what it has to do in your hand. It's life, it's beauty in that. Something else I learned is that most people can name more logos in corporations than they can name plants in their own yard. Another thing I learned about was horticultural therapy. I'm gonna do some more research into that to truly understand like what it is. From my understanding, you have to have like four classes on plant science, like with college, and 4 classes on psychology. That's what the lady told me. That's how she got it. But I'm gonna try to see if there's another way so I don't have to go through some of these institutions, because I don't necessarily believe in some of these institutions, because there's only a few institutions that I've done research on that I respect that are actually on a progressive way. So that's all the notes I have. This conference, like I said, I learned a ton, but most of the learning did not happen in the classes. Most of the learning happened in one-on-one sessions with people that I met. So I had met a guy in the soil science class, and he was intrigued by the questions I was asking. And so from that, he introduced me to someone else, and then that person introduced me to someone else, and then the network just kept going. We ended up having dinner that night at a vegan place. It was very, very good. I'm so happy I was able to go and connect, and then I was able to connect a couple people that I already knew from conferences to the people that I had just met. And then I just seen so many people and was able to meet so many people. So with that being said, networking is something that is so beautiful when it comes to gardening. I don't believe any garden should be ran by one single person. The reason I say that is because either way, even if it is ran by one single person, those microbes is helping you. It's not ran by one person. If you think you're running your garden by yourself, you're not. I'm sorry if you think that, but you're not. So you might as well try to help involve the community, help teach people, help bring people along on this journey as well, because they keep saying that the average age of a gardener is 55 and above or 60 and above, but I've seen so many young people there at this conference. So I know we're out there. I know we're able to keep this thing going. We're able to get back to what our ancestors was doing. We don't have to do this conventional farming. We don't have to fertilize everything. We don't have to pesticide everything. We don't have to do those things because it's not needed. Because how was our people eating back then? They wasn't using all that. That brings me to another point. I learned about something called Korean natural farming. The first time I ever even heard about this was from a TikToker who goes by the name of Chris the Farmer. He's excellent when it comes to breaking down soil health in a very simple way, but you could completely start to understand what it has to do. Y'all could go follow him because I really want y'all to see what he has going, because it's so attainable. In the soil class, another lady, she had came up to me and she was also intrigued about like how interested I was in soil health and soil science. So she was telling me about Korean natural farming and what they do with this. Look it up, because I'm very new to it. So what I might be telling you may not be 100% correct, but that's why you do your own research. Don't take everything that I'm saying for law. Don't say Gardner West said. Don't do that, because it's on you to have your own research. But basically what it is about, it's about having your native microorganisms and introducing those to your soil. And you can grow these things in a natural way. So one of the ways that I was told about was you could get some fruit and some brown sugar. And from this, you have the fruit, the brown sugar, you put it in like a mason jar or whatever. You don't fill it all the way. You let this thing ferment. And from there, you are growing those microorganisms, because the brown sugar is going to help the microorganisms that are breaking down the fruit to grow, because they need energy. But that's something that I thought was so cool, how it was explained to me. It's an endless amount of microorganisms for free. All you got to do is start it. But once I figure out how to do it, I will be making a video about that too. Also, don't think I forgot about making the raised bed, building the raised bed video, because I will be doing that also. I just went out of town, and from there, this is what I just wanted to show y'all what I learned. I also learned something about farmers markets, because I'm also operations manager of a farmers market that we've been trying to get started here. So from that, we faced a couple challenges, and there were people there who had already kind of went through some of the challenges that we're facing now, but as well as have went through worse challenges. And that opened my eyes, because I always try to be persistent, and I always try to never give up. And I've never thought about giving up. But this right here has helped me to see a light at the end of the tunnel, because I didn't have to figure it out all by myself. I was around people that had already been through what I'm currently going through. If y'all live in the Central Texas area, want to follow me on my Facebook is Gardner West, Gardner Space West, and that's where I will keep y'all updated on like farmers markets and events that we have going with the nonprofit. I also there's a list that I was given of children's books, because there's a program that goes on to help kids learn how to read and relate it to gardening. And I think that's so beautiful because, like I said, that's one of my biggest things, like showing people that it's possible, teaching about the beauty of gardening. And I also love the youth. I probably don't talk about it enough, and I'm going off a lot right now just telling y'all what I do, because I know I don't talk about it. I'm not saying that I do a lot, but it's just saying that there's a lot of avenues that you can take when it comes to this gardening stuff. And I done took a lot of them. And I'm happy to take a lot of them because, like I said, gardening is life. My business is literally called It's a Lifestyle MBS. It's a lifestyle connecting the mind, body, and soul. So with that being said, every aspect of my life, I try to incorporate gardening. And if it's not incorporated, it doesn't really fit. That's why I have all these things going on. I'm just rambling at this point, but I just felt bad because I don't have that much footage from the actual conference. I have a couple things, but I wish I would have been able to record a couple more things, but we were just so caught up in the moment, man. I love the moment. Well, I made a little rap back in the day. I said live in real life. I don't go to the movies, because that's really just my philosophy. Like, I live in real life. Why would I go to the movies whenever I'm so entertained by everyday life? Like, it's so beautiful, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up right here. This just brings me back to all the opportunities that gardening has brought me. Who would have thought 3 years ago that I would be traveling places to garden? If y'all know me, y'all know my story. It ain't been easy these past 3 years since I learned about gardening. I done had my ups and downs. I done had a lot of ups though, and so that's what keep me pushing, like understanding that life is a journey, gardening is a journey. Each day is different. It's the beauty of life. That's literally the beauty of life. I'm gonna keep saying it. The fact that every day you wake up is different. When you come out to this garden, it's different. Every day you have a conversation with somebody is different. Appreciate the differences in this world, because if everything was the same, oh no, that's not for me. I just encourage y'all to get out there, plant some seeds. Not only plant seeds in your garden, but plant seeds in the knowledge of life. Drop seeds on people who may need it. Gardening isn't just all about putting seeds in the ground. It's about helping the community. It's about building the community. It's about building yourself. It's about just spreading love and joy, because every day you come out here, you believe in the future. You wouldn't be planting these seeds if you didn't believe in the future. Why do you believe in the future? Because you care about people. That's why you care about people, you care about yourself, and you care about this earth. That's why you choose the garden. So just remember that and take that to the people that are around you. Spread this joy, spread this knowledge, spread this love, and keep going. I believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Whenever your seeds don't sprout, keep going. Whenever the people around you not treating you the best, keep going. Whenever everything around you seems like it's about to crumble, keep going. Because I believe in you, because it will work, because you have it in you. I believe in you. I'm talking to you who's watching this video right now. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep y'all updated on this raised bed building video. And then we just going to keep it pushing, keep it going. And remember, it's a beautiful day to garden.
Draining all your energy, better pull them like a weed. Undefeated in life, shit, I sprouted like a seed.